America is in the grip of an opiate epidemic. This epidemic affects 44% of American families. In 2015 alone, more than 54,000 people died from opiate overdoses, and this number is on the rise. But there is an exciting new protocol available, a way to reduce or even eliminate the misery of detoxing. It's called Brain Restoration plus NAD, the brain restoration solution that is setting the new standard of care for opiate addiction. Brain Restoration plus NAD supplies the brain with vital nutrients it needs to restore itself to clarity without substituting a different addictive substance. It has been proven for many to break the rehab-relapse cycle. At Springfield Wellness Center, we give addiction patients the medical treatment they need to help restore an impaired brain. We treat addiction as a disease, not a character defect. At Springfield Wellness Center, we understand addiction. This video explains how our Brain Restoration plus NAD treatment protocol can help.
Yeah, NAD is a foundational molecule. It's important in maintaining cell health, maintaining cell energy, helping with DNA repair, so forth. It's one molecule that has multiple functions. In a general practice, using it to help detox patients off of alcohol and opiates and stimulants, helping to augment some of the strategies used for depression.
I found out about, I think it was in about 2013, and I'd had some people contact me by phone, and just because they'd read some of the papers that we'd written around the NAD and its relationship to oxidative stress and degeneration, and they'd been using NAD for some time. So we corresponded over the phone, and then I got to know how they were using it in the clinical context, particularly in addiction medicine, and yeah, very fascinating work, very fascinating.
It's our protocols that we developed over 16 years of working with people. What that will do is three things. It will detox a person safely with minimal withdrawal symptoms. It will also block the craving. And the third thing it does, which a medical detox does not do, is that it does what we call the brain restoration piece. And that's when the prefrontal lobe turns back on. Memory, concentration, ability to problem solve, impulse control, depression decreases, anxiety decreases, someone sleeps better. There are all of these other, confidence comes back. A person who has been in misery for a very long time finally has hope, finally is free to make choices that will help them instead of hurt them.
Can you imagine going from using huge amounts of opiates to no withdrawal symptoms at all? They can't believe it, and they start feeling better, and they start feeling hope, and then the NAD clears their brain, and then we have somebody with experience that they can trust, and that they say, wow, he made it, maybe there is a chance for me. And so it seems like this is where God wants me to be. And you know, we're making a difference in the world, one person at a time.
I'm on day 7, and I haven't felt like this in 12, 13 years. I was on painkillers for 12, 13 years and pretty much convinced myself I was nocturnal, and since I've been on this, I have a normal sleeping habit. I was really happy about that. I find myself singing to myself. I've never done that. Just real positive attitude since about day 3. Everything just started spinning around. When I came here and they were telling me you think better and see colors clear, and I was like, yeah, and I'll have super speed and flight and won't be bothered by kryptonite, and then I kind of kicked myself because I was wrong and they were right, and this has actually been a real turning point for me.
They may say they want to enter treatment, but they really don't even believe themselves that they can get better. They may mouth the words, they may say it hopefully, but they really don't believe they can get better. And when they start feeling that there is hope, that those first several days when they say, I'm not having withdrawal symptoms and my brain feels clearer and maybe I can get better.
We had a friend that had successfully, he was drinking pints of vodka a day, and he was doing amazing. His color came back, and he was saying how wonderful Springfield Wellness was. So I went in very skeptical. Okay, he's one person, but with a vitamin regimen of an IV, I didn't see much hope. But we're in the car and we were making the drive down the path of Springfield. There's a beautiful pond. It's a little cottage house, not medicinal, feel of a hospital setting, or walked in, sat down, and met Paula. And so when I went in the first day, they hooked me up with the IV, sat down, and my journey of a miracle began. What I would love to say to Dr. Medier and Paula and to the Springfield Wellness team is thank you. Thank you for giving me my life back.
I have fought years and years and years, decades, post-traumatic stress in a little place called Vietnam. So I was always been very interested in this type of treatment. A good friend of mine asked me to have Paula and Dick on my radio show to talk about this process. When we went to the first commercial, somebody asked me, what do you think? And I very scientifically said, I think it's bullshit. Just did not believe it. Sounds too good to be true. And when I talked to one of the people on the set, off the air, who was initially doing 15 bags of heroin a day and now claimed to be cured of that and alcoholism, I turned to him and I said, come on. How do you get cured from that? He said, I don't know. Just after I took a couple of these treatments, I lost all desire and urge to do it. So just curiosity-wise, decided to do a couple more shows. And then a good friend of mine who's a former professional football player, had CTE, all of the symptoms of concussion after concussion. He had a bad drinking problem, went through a bunch of detox, finally convinced him to come here, and boom, all of a sudden, he's a different person. So I'm convinced, with absolutely no scientific background, but a lot of life experience, this is the only program I've ever seen that get, number one, these kind of results, but number two, these kind of results over this short period of time. And it's something that ought to be presented to the world. This needs to get out to the whole world.
For me, this has been life-changing. I had gotten to a point where I had lost my motivation to complete my education, lost my work ethic, morals even, and this has reestablished my character. So any fears that you might have about them not being able to take care of you is a wasted emotion.
In my 50s, I have dystonia of the neck, which is a chronic neck problem, and I live with chronic pain. So I went to doctors. Nobody explained to me where this was going and where I would end up. The next thing you know, you're taking enormous amounts of Oxycontin on a daily basis, enough to kill a horse. The darkest place I've ever been is in detox from Oxycontin. No one could have brought me to understand the horror and the depth of the horror. What this place does, it's magnificent because it does a frontal attack with very natural. Everything here is natural, and it's wonderful. And it deals with it right up front, very naturally, and it gives you that contrast between the horror and freedom. Your ability to think with clarity and everything else is in this treatment. It's not in that treatment. It's not in rapid detox.
It's so magnificent. No one raises their hand in 4th grade and said, look, when I grow up, I want to be an addict or an alcoholic. They don't do that. They don't aspire for that. It's a brain disease first. When I first discovered that this was as valuable as it is, I wanted people in the know to know so that we could get it out and help as many people as we could possibly help. I would like to see, and I said this 16 years ago, I would like to see this become the standard of care for addiction detox.
We're coming out with some great research to validate what we've been doing and they've been doing in this product for the last 15 or 16 years. And it is very exciting, and I'm glad to be a part of that. Looking forward to enticing other people to be part of the research that's going on, because it's going to do so much for mankind, going to do so much for this addiction problem we have in America today, and this opioid problem that's just sweeping America. We're excited about it, and we hope to get you excited.
Help us advance the science behind brain restoration plus NAD so that millions who are suffering from opiate addiction can detox quickly, safely, and without substitute narcotics.